I know. I love it.
I'll put
Very
it away.
cute.
There's blood in our sink.
Ah!
There's blood in the sink. You okay?
Uh-huh. Where's the other soap?
Should be under there, right?
Oh.
Isn't it? Or no?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Under there, pretty sure. Oh, what's that? No.
No, it's not better.
Yeah. We can.
Also, remember, Walter doesn't get it.
Oh, okay.
So you can focus.
Thank you, honey. Good morning. Good morning, birds. Good morning, sun. Such a lovely day. I've had 6 cups of coffee, so I'm really wide awake. It's not true. I haven't had any cups of coffee yet, but I'm about to. Hey, AC, I just messaged you on Patreon. Good morning. How's everybody on the first day of Christmas? On the first day of Christmas. Oh, wow. That's huge. That's a big moment.
What is?
Her son, she just took her oldest son to, or I guess youngest son, to get his learner's permit.
Whoa.
I know, that's like a moment where you're like, oh God, my life. Right? Oh my gosh. Well, good luck to him. He's your baby. Yeah, your youngest. Yeah. I sent you a with. Okay, no worries, Tiff. I'll take care of it. I'll be going through all of those today as usual. We prepared for that stuff. Don't worry. Don't worry. Really wide awake. Morning, girl. Good morning. It was you at me. It was you and not me. Okay, we can still fix it. Whoever made the shipping mishap, we can always get it fixed. Don't worry. We'll take care of it. Good morning. It's the first day of Christmas because it's November. Maybe I could green coffee today. Next year we get a 54-day advent calendar. Yes! I'll pre-plan. Here's the smoothie thing, honey. I found it. On the first day of Christmas, Sasha sings so many songs because it's Christmas time. I'm going to listen to Christmas music all day. Even though I'm wearing a Halloween sweatshirt. It's okay. A little jig. What's everyone's favorite Christmas song? Oh my gosh, hey, what is up? Oh my gosh, Oscar, long time no see. How are you? I was on your FYP for this? That's hilarious. Instead of slime stuff? That's funny. That's funny. That is funny. Winter Wonderland's your favorite. Here's your coffee, darling.
Thank you, babe.
You are welcome. Enjoy.
I will.
Enjoy the coffee. Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he's Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire. No, I'm at home in California. As we dream by the fire. Which means we have an even larger gap in time difference. In case anyone doesn't know, Slime Glitters is Oscar and he lives in England. So for everyone who's always asking me about getting slime in the UK, this would be a great resource for you all. I do not know where else he ships, but I know that he ships in the UK. It's true. And I love when you sing on live. Aw, thank you, Brittany. That's so sweet. Even when it's Christmas music, you're not. No one's mad yet that I'm singing Christmas music in November. It's gonna happen all month. Get ready. I'm not gonna stop. You can't make me. She goes, well, I'm a Christmas baby. You can't stop me. I was born for this. I was literally born to listen to Christmas music.
We have already listened to it in the car.
He's right. See, your boyfriend ain't never lied about that. My mother has all her Christmas decorations up on the inside already. Good. I support her in her endeavors. Brittany says it makes me happy to let it slide. I appreciate that, Brittany. You know what else I get to do today? I get to eat hearts of palm because I bought them yesterday. Oh no, your hand is wet. I don't want to high five this one.
Rejected.
Hello, good morning. How is everyone? Shira, I need to send you a message. It's very important. I made melted chocolate cold brew and I'm so pleased with it. Ooh, oh, malted chocolate cold brew. How, pray tell, does one make malted chocolate cold brew? And does it require sugar? Ooh, ASMR. For the ASMR or for the coffee, or both?
For the coffee?
Oh.
Both? For the, what was the other thing?
ASMR.
ASMR. ASMR doesn't actually do anything for me. I don't know. I don't know.
That's okay. Not everybody.
It works for a lot of people.
It does. I don't like all
When I
it.
hear it, I'm like, I don't know what I was supposed to be feeling right now.
It doesn't make you feel happy?
I don't know. Isn't it like, but it's a whole range of possibilities. People whispering at you.
I don't like whispers. I like taps.
I feel like the ASMR thing is mainly people are into the whisper.
No.
No?
I like taps. I like the sound of an old keyboard. And I like bubble pops.
No, none of that would do anything for me. In
Okay.
fact, almost all of them I'd probably find annoying pretty fast.
Even keyboard?
Well, I have like a clackety keyboard.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If it was someone else doing it, I probably would have done it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
Good morning.
When I worked in an office with my keyboard, I would never have one that loud and clackety.
Really?
Oh no, I wouldn't subject people to that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, new spot today, huh?
No, I'm just, the tripod was over here from what we did yesterday and I have to take it with me. And I can't hold 3 things at once because I only have 2 hands.
I can help you. What else do you use on your own?
No, that's it. The tripod, the phone, and the coffee. Ooh. Good morning, birds. Good morning, sun. Hey, Brian. Brian heard the call of Broadway and joined immediately. I started singing a Broadway song, and here's Brian. That's really funny. Hey, Grace. Although I think, and I could be wrong, but I think Brian and I have the same opinion of Sutton Foster. Brian, am I right? Do we share our? I have not. What is it, Allie? Is it here in the U.S.? Use malted milk powder. Does malted milk powder have sugar in it? I love malt flavored things. Anyway. Does anyone in here besides Brian and I know who, it's so yummy it has to be, everything comes from the US, that's funny. Does anyone in here besides Brian and I know who Sutton Foster is? Raise your hand if you know who Sutton Foster is. Babe, do you know who Sutton Foster is?
Is he related to Sutton Kane?
It is a girl, so I'm gonna go with no.
Oh, so she's probably the sister of Sutton Kane.
No, she's the sister of Hunter Foster, who is her brother.
Oh. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
So yes, Shelley also knows who Sutton Foster is. Sutton Foster is a very beloved Broadway performer who apparently she's the number 2 most recognized name in Broadway market research, is what Brian says. Because
I've never heard of her.
No, in Broadway market research, baby, you're not Broadway.
But they're asking normal people about her.
People who buy Broadway tickets.
I bought a Broadway ticket once.
Yeah, once. I don't love Sutton, but I don't like either of them for those roles. So here's the thing. Good morning, Becca. Here is the thing. The thing is, I do not enjoy Sutton Foster as a performer. Yes, it is Christmas season. Happy Christmas. Becca gets me. Becca came in the room and her first day was Happy Christmas season. It's true. Now I need to know who the number 1 most recognized name was. Yeah, Brian, who was the number 1 most recognized name? Was it, don't tell me it was Hugh Jackman. That doesn't count, right?
It's not Lin-Manuel.
Oh, yeah, it's probably Lynn. It has to be, right? Sutton is the style of Angela Lansbury. Tevitt is the more outrageous. You think Sutton is Angela Lansbury? 100% Merry Christmas. I'm not taking Halloween decorations down. That's fine. I'm wearing a Halloween sweatshirt. I do not feel comfortable putting Sutton Foster in the same category as Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury is a queen, a goddess, an icon.
Is she a Q queen or a K queen?
A Q queen. And you know who Angela Lansbury is.
The writer?
What?
I don't know who Angela Lansbury is.
You don't know who Angela Lansbury is, babe?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, well, Angela Lansbury is Mrs. Potts. She's been in a lot of things. Murder, She Wrote, Bed Knobs.
Oh, okay, I do know who she is now.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like outside of Broadway famous.
She's like just an actress.
Well, she's a Broadway person first.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is there is that's hilarious. Arbitrary Canary said, "Who writes murders in his world if not her?" Because
Exactly.
Murder She Wrote. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But I do not feel comfortable putting Sutton Foster in the category of Angela Lansbury because Angela Lansbury is so much better than Sutton Foster could ever hope to be. I am not a Sutton Foster fan. I think calling her a triple threat is a misnomer. I think people just say because she can dance, sing, and act that she's a triple threat, but I think to call someone a threat in those areas means they have to be good at them.
It's a triple threat. She'll be worse than you in every area.
I mean, Grace goes, crush her. I did. We're almost halfway through this book, you guys. Are you excited? I'm excited. And then we're going to read about Britney Spears, which is going to be, probably sad. I don't know who Sutton Foster is. That's okay. Most people outside of Broadway don't know who Sutton Foster is. But I will also say what I always say about Sutton Foster, who, whenever people bring her up, I will say this. Sutton Foster was in Shrek the Musical. I read Matthew Perry's book. It was phenomenal. Sutton Foster was in Shrek the Musical, which I loved. And I saw Shrek the Musical 7 times on Broadway. That is 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And not once was Sutton Foster in for the day. She called out so many times that despite the fact that over the course of its run, I saw it 7 different times, I never saw her in her role. So, what?
Scandals.
It is a scandal. Yeah. That means that she never went to work, essentially, is what that means.
She could have had something bad going on in her life. You never know.
Okay, but over the course of 2 years to miss just like that many performances, and she was known for missing not just those 7, but like a ton of other performances.
Okay, maybe not then.
Yeah, she just was never in the role. The people who I saw in the role were phenomenal. Yeah, she still had a job to do, exactly. You could have something going on in your life, but then give the role to someone else.
That's fair.
If it's going to be your role, then you need to,
Was she Shrek?
She was Fiona, but I never saw it. Devil's advocate over here. They need to get to their smoothie making. They're making their smoothie. Anyway,
just don't like Sutton Foster. On the other side of it, I love Aaron Tevitt, and I know that people's complaint is that he is a tenor. He's a tenor, and Sweeney's supposed to be a
Todd?
Sweeney's supposed to be a Todd. Yes. He's a tenor, and Sweeney is supposed to be a Todd. Becca goes, yep, correct. He's supposed to be a baritone, and I understand that, and I've heard everyone's complaint from it. Given Aaron's track record for how good he's been in everything else he's ever been in, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and wait to hear it before I judge. We'll see what he does. I'm not saying that it's correct. I'm not saying that it's incorrect. All I'm saying is I don't like Sutton Foster. So, that's all. And this is not a property that I feel so strongly about that I'm unwilling to accept other opinions. There's a few things where I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. But on this one, I'm like, it's fine. Sutton is the outcome of a decade of Broadway generations of leading ladies from being unique. Yes, I agree. I agree. She is very ununique. Yes. Yes.
She's lacking in uniqueness.
She is lacking in any kind of special anything. I'm like, she brings nothing to the table for me. Literally nothing.
So, apparently people like her.
Well, what happened was, this is why people like her. It's not that people actually like her, it's that they've been tricked into liking her. What, you think I'm kidding?
They pulled the wool over her.
No, really, because what happened was, this is what happened.
Rubes.
There was a show in the early aughts called Thoroughly Modern Millie, and in Thoroughly Modern Millie, someone else was cast as Millie.
Yeah.
Yes, I am wearing a Hocus Pocus sweatshirt. And that person was unable to perform during previews, much like the situation I told you about with Lynn and that whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And what happened was, Sutton, who was very young and had never been in anything before, was the understudy. And so she got to go on. And everyone was so flabbergasted that an understudy could take over and do this part of the character.
See, that's what I was saying the other day.
That she was, this was before the trend of today that I was telling you about before. She was given the role because she was so good and so new and so green, and it was so exciting. She was given the role, and everybody just decided that she was good because she was a young girl who could tap dance and sing and act at the same time. Not nailing any of the three as far as I'm concerned, but doing all three. And so because she was so special as Millie and the show was so highly regarded, she automatically started getting cast in other things and then became a Broadway darling very early in her career without having to put in the effort that other people did. It also happens that at the same time as she was doing this, her brother was making his debut in multiple other things. So as a family, they kind of took over Broadway and became the leading people of Broadway for a time. Now, this being said, her brother's very talented, right? So it's a wackadoodle situation where she's become the star and no one's seen him in years. Where is he? What's he performing in? Nothing.
Chained up in her basement, probably.
Probably, because he's more talented. She came down in a bubble, Doug. That's true. I am always that. It's true. A bubble. Yeah. She's good at what she does, that she can actually dance and do the comedy. It's just quirky enough not to offend people. Exactly. That's exactly right. She's just enough not to be offensive. That's correct. Brian's right.
Are the dishes clean?
No.
The dishwasher, really?
No.
Should run it.
If you want. Do we need it?
We're out of cups.
What kind of cups?
All cups.
Really?
Except for coffee cups.
Because we were goblins yesterday?
I don't know. Maybe.
Even the ones in that cupboard?
Yeah.
Whoa, hardcore.
Yeah.
Use coffee mugs for today?
We will.
For the smoothie?
Okay. I'm gonna run it. Ready for your dance?
I'm ready to dance.
Show that Broadway performer what for.
I can't dance like that, but I'm also not being hired as Millie. Brian said, like, Kristen in Promises getting raked over the coals for both being believed to be depressed. I hated Promises, and I also don't love Kristen Chenoweth either, which is, I know, controversial because Wicked and whatnot. We're gonna dance again. So, Becca, you are correct. She is nice. I have met Kristen Chenoweth at different work things a number of times, and she is a consummate professional, a lovely lady, so kind to everyone, couldn't be sweeter. I do not care for her performance style. What? Just because someone's a nice person doesn't make them a great performer.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she's a bad person. No, as a person, she's wonderful. She's lovely. She's just not my cup of tea on the stage. I'm just saying Sutton is quirky enough not to be the type to... Yes, correct. Agreed, Brian. Agreed. I'm sure Sutton's also a lovely person. I actually don't know. I've never met Sutton because she doesn't show up for anything. But, well,
headshot.
yeah. I also worked at Wicked, so I'm more likely to run into Kristen Chenoweth than I am Sutton anyway, but it is what it is. I'm going to read now. I think I've given enough of a Broadway diatribe for one morning. It's NaNoWriMo, guys. Sutton's issue is translating to older roles where typecasting template is needed. I think Sutton's issue is that she just is one note. That's my problem with Sutton. She has no nuance. Sutton has zero nuance, and as a result, it's boring. Truly. That's my problem with her, is that I feel like I'm just watching the same thing over and over again. That's my problem with Kristen as well. My problem with Kristen Chenoweth is not that she's not a nice person. It's that every single time you see her in anything, you're seeing Kristen Chenoweth on stage. I don't want to see Kristen Chenoweth on stage. I want to see the character. Right? That's the whole point of being an actor. I love that cup.
Acting without acting.
Oh! Delicious. Oh, peanut buttery. Woo!
Yeah.
I love it. All right, let's read chapter 12, The Cyclone. Speaking of Wicked, dun dun dun! The price of being a leading actor versus a character, yeah. Secret boyfriend has made me want smoothies. We can make a smoothie club. Secret boyfriend can lead a smoothie club. You want to lead a smoothie club, babe?
Oh yeah. Camera on me, and we'll just like put it below.
Just on your hands. Yeah. Oh yeah, we can do hand smoothie club. Yeah, that's not a problem. Okay, The Cyclone, chapter 12. Despite their prior experience of traveling between dimensions, Alex and Connor were absolutely astonished. In a matter of seconds, the vast prairies of Kansas had been created around them, and their mouths were wide open as their awestruck friends. Even Lester's jaw dropped at the sight of it. "It worked!" Alex said. "Not that I wasn't expecting it to, but I still can't believe it actually worked." "It's remarkable," Goldilocks agreed. The only thing that traveled with them from the cave was the wonderful Wizard of Oz book itself. It was lying open on the ground and emitted a bright beam of light exactly as it had done in the cave. Connor stuck his head through the beam and saw Hagetta standing in the cave. "Well?" Hagetta said. "It worked," he said, and gave her a thumbs up. "Wish us luck." Connor leaned back into the story and shut the book. The beam disappeared, but reappeared as soon as he opened it. He closed it again and tucked it safely into the back of his belt. Red looked around the fields as if she had never seen anything so bleak. "So, this is the other world?" she asked. "Well, it's L. Frank Baum's interpretation of it," Alex said, "but technically, yes." "It's just lovely," Red said, but her face told a different story. "It reminds me of my kingdom if all the happiness and color had been drained from it." The lack of color was quite depressing, and it immediately put the group in a somber mood. In fact, they were the only colorful thing in this world. They heard barking and a child's laughter coming from the inside of the farmhouse. It was nice to know that some cheerfulness existed in this place. The door of the house opened, and an old man with a white beard stepped onto the front lawn. He stared up at the sky uneasily. "The sky's awfully gray today, Em," the man called to the back of the house. "Grayer than it usually is." A frail farmer's wife walked out of the house and began sweeping the porch. "Oh, Henry, stop it," Em said. "The sky looks no different than it did yesterday or the day before." A little girl appeared behind the screen door. She was adorable and wore pigtails and a dainty dress. She held the scruffy little dog in her arms and lovingly stroked his fur. No, I've got a bad feeling about this, Henry said. We may have a cyclone on our hands. Don't you worry, Dorothy. If you keep talking like that, you will. Now go inside, Em ordered. The little girl held her dog a little bit tighter and stared up at the sky with the same concerned look as her uncle. It was too late. Who are those sad people? Red asked the twins. And what's a cyclone? Is he talking about a one-eyed man? Alex and Connor didn't respond. This was the first time they'd seen their favorite childhood storybook characters come to life, but it was enthralling nonetheless. Oh, this wasn't the first time, but it was enthralling nonetheless. Dorothy spotted them and shrieked with joy. Aunt Em, Uncle Henry, she said. Look over there. It's other people. It must have been a long time since the little girl had seen another soul beside her aunt and uncle. She was more excited to see the twins than their friends were to see her. Dorothy ran across the field to greet them. Henry and Em were so surprised by the visitors that they didn't move. Hello there, Dorothy said. What brings you to our farm? Hi there, Dorothy, Connor said. Dorothy gasped. How did you know my name? She said with large eyes. Alex shot Connor a dirty look in panic. Because, he struggled. A huge smile grew on Dorothy's face. I know, she said. You're a fortune teller, aren't you? I know it from the moment I saw you. You're a traveling circus. With nothing better to say, everyone just nodded. Yeah, indeed, Connor said, and instantly broke out into an outrageous character. I am Master Conamondo, psychic extraordinaire. The men, the women, the bird behind me are all part of a renowned Bailey traveling circus. Dorothy excitedly jumped up and down. Toto barked at them. Even he seemed overdue for some excitement. This was the most exciting thing that had ever happened to them. Allow me to introduce my friends, Connor said with overdramatic gestures. Meet Jack, the circus strongman, Goldie, the sword juggler, Red, the uptight mistress of the tightrope. Straight from the wilds of Madagascar jungles, meet Lestosaurus and his tamer, Madame Goose. And last but not least, my sister, Alexandra the bearded lady. What? Alex said. But she doesn't have a beard, Dorothy pointed out. She shaved this morning, Connor said. Alex rolled her eyes. Nothing was ever easy when she traveled with her brother. We were on our way to Kansas and stumbled upon your humble abode, Connor said. Well, that's putting it nicely, Red said. I'm so glad you did, Dorothy said. Nothing exciting ever happens around here. It tickled the twins as they exchanged a smile. They knew more about her than she knew about herself. Won't you please stay for supper? Dorothy asked, and then turned to her aunt and uncle. Can't they join us, Aunt Em? Oh, please say yes. Auntie Em and Uncle Henry looked at each other and shrugged. Well, I suppose, Uncle Henry said. I hope you like corn, Auntie Em said. Connor quickly looked back at the others, but none of them objected. Supper sounds like a good idea, Mother Goose said. I'm a little hungry, and if Lester doesn't eat every 4 hours, he gets really crabby. Don't look at me like that, Lester. I wouldn't say it if it weren't true. Dorothy escorted her visitors into the farmhouse. The house was so small. It was only one room. It had a stove, a cupboard, 2 beds, a table, 4 chairs, forcing everyone but Connor to eat on the beds and on the floor. True to her word, Aunt Em served corn, and that was all. I got my slime yesterday. Thank you so much. It was amazing. Oh, you're so welcome, Mary. You're so welcome. Please tell me about the places you've been to, Dorothy requested at dinner. Well, I have good... Excuse me. Well, I have good memories of Baton Rouge and Jefferson City, Mother Goose said. But if you want to make a few bucks, Texas is where the money is. The others gave her a strange look. How did she know that? What? Mother Goose said. You think this is the first circus that I've been in? Henry and Aunt Em never looked up from their corn, but Dorothy was all eyes and ears. Living on the Kansas farm must have been such a dull life that the adventures that awaited her would definitely make up for a lifetime of boredom. You folks certainly do get around, Uncle Henry said. Speaking of getting around, Jack said, have any of you noticed an awkward man walking around these parts? He might go by Lloyd or the Masked Man, Goldilocks said. He's a friend of ours from the circus. We're looking for him. Can't say that I have, Aunt Em said. Y'all are the only visitors we've seen since as far back as I can remember. This was disappointing and also confused the twins. If there was no sign of their uncle in this story, had he already traveled into another book? Well, he must be somewhere, Connor said. It was a loaded statement, but luckily only his sister and her friends caught on. I wish I was somewhere else, Dorothy said with a sigh. Sometimes I dream about joining the circus just so that I can see the world, but I don't think Toto and I will ever get out of Kansas. A strong wail of wind came from outside, followed shortly by a high-pitched whistling. The sounds were alarming. Dorothy, Henry, and Em froze. The tiny house began to rock as the wind grew stronger and stronger outside. It's a cyclone! Henry yelled and stood up from the table. I'll free the animals! He jumped up from the table and ran out of the house in a panic. Not knowing any better, Mother Goose, Lester, Red, Goldilocks, and Jack quickly followed him. What are you guys doing? Connor yelled. We need to stay in the house, Alex called after them. They have a storm cellar. It was too late. Their friends were already outside, and they didn't hear a word that Connor and Alex said over the strong winds. Em dove into the center of the room and rolled up the rug, revealing the square door built in the center of the floor. Quick, Dorothy, follow me into the cellar, Aunt Em ordered. She pulled the door open and climbed into the storm cellar under the house. Toto was frightened and jumped off of Dorothy's lap and hid under the bed. Toto, she said, come here, boy. While Dorothy tried to retrieve her dog, Alex and Connor ran outside to retrieve their friends. The sky was so gray it was almost black. The wind blew from every direction. It was so strong it was almost impossible to stay standing. The twins found their friends in the barn, helping Henry set the animals free. The cows and horses ran out of the barn and into the field away from the approaching storm. You guys, we have to get back into the house, Connor yelled. Trust us, this is going to get nasty. They figured the twins knew what they were doing since they knew the story, so they followed the twins out of the barn and back towards the house, but came to a quick halt. They screamed and pointed towards the sky. Spiraling down from the black clouds was an enormous tornado. The tornado touched the ground and headed directly for the farmhouse. The twins and their friends had to grab one another's hands to stay on their feet. We don't have time to get to the cellar, Connor yelled. Alex screamed, Connor, look over there! She shouted and pointed to a nearby field. Running as fast as humanly possible against the wind, was Alex and Connor's uncle. He'd stolen a bag of books, and it was slung over his shoulder when he was bolting for the farmhouse. Even more shocking was that he hadn't replaced the mask that Connor had ripped off of him in the library, so for a split second, the twins thought that they were seeing their father. Lloyd leaped onto the porch and saluted the twins. He'd been in Kansas the entire time, just waiting for the storm to break. The tornado was only a few yards away from the house as Lloyd ran inside. The farmhouse was ripped off of its foundation and flew into the air. Like a gigantic cloudy monster, the cyclone swallowed the house and disappeared into the vortex. Dorothy! Henry shouted and ran towards the twister. Henry, wait! Stay with us! Jack yelled after the farmer. No, Jack, Alex said. Leave him. He'll be okay. How do you know? Jack said. Because I've read the book, Alex said. The wind was deafening and only grew louder as the tornado drew closer. At first, Connor thought that they should all travel back through the Wonderful Wizard of Oz book and into the cave, but he would have lost it in the powerful winds if he tried that. Everyone back into the barn, Connor yelled. It was their only option for survival now. The terrified group pulled and pushed one another until they all made it back into the barn. Once they were inside, they slammed the doors shut and grabbed hold of anything that they could wrap their arms around. Connor clutched a post with one arm and the book with the other. The tornado smashed into the barn and tore the roof off. The barn began to sway and creak. It tilted back and forth, leaning further each time. Houston, we have liftoff, Mother Goose shouted. The barn spun into the air, flying higher by the second. Their feet dangled in the air. There was no way of telling which way was up or down. The tornado was so powerful that gravity didn't apply. The barn doors were sucked off their hinges. Red lost her grip and was pulled out of the barn. Run! The twins screamed in unison. Lesta, go get her, Mother Goose ordered. The goose let go of the stable door that he had been clutching with his beak and flew into the storm. The wind blew him around in circles into the tornado. Every so often they would see a big ball of red fabric pass him. It was red. Lester spread his wings so that the wind blew him faster and managed to catch a piece of Red's dress in his mouth. Is it back? Is it front? Are we here? Are we there? Are we back? Are we here? We're here. Okay. It was a spam call. The worst time for a spam call. How rude. Lester, help me! Red screamed. Don't let me die in such an ugly place! The barn was flying directly at them. Lester pulled Red close to his body and wrapped his wings around her, turning himself into a big feathery ball. He smashed straight through the barn wall, returning to the others. Great work, Lester, Mother Goose shouted. I thought being left at the altar would be the worst part of my week, Red yelled. The barn flew uncontrollably around in the air as the storm continued. Occasionally, the twins could spot the farmhouse bobbing up and down in the center of the tornado, but there was no way they could reach it. The cyclone sped even faster, flinging the barn in one direction and the farmhouse in another. The world spun so fast outside the barn that no one could make out where they were headed. For the first time, bright colors could be seen somewhere in the distance, but they couldn't tell if it was the ground or the sky. The barn kept spinning and spinning, falling faster and faster, but they had no idea what they were falling into. I mean, we all know what they're falling into because we've all read the book. Yes, cloud slime is in my recipe book. We have a guess. Yes, we all know where they're headed. We've read the book. All right. So, on the docket for today, in case anyone doesn't know, is NaNoWriMo stuff. And then at 4 p.m. Pacific time today, I am doing a group roll for slime here on TikTok. So come if you are interested. It will be 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, and it is going to be super fun for anyone who is on the Roll for Slime level. I posted on Patreon so that everyone can see who's already signed up and how many we'll be making and all that stuff. It's going to be fun. I will have new Roll for Slime sheets for it based on what can be done in large quantities as opposed to the other Roll for Slime, which are individualized. So it's different. Yeah, go ahead, Grace. It's posted. I posted another one this morning. There's plenty of time. As long as I know before we start making it, I can account for the number that I need to make at one time. So that's not a problem at all, Grace. No rush. You are totally fine. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I might do some NaNoWriMo sprints later today. I don't know. But all sorts of fun is happening. Shira is giving me our monthly charms for the monthly slime tomorrow. So monthly slimes can go out starting on Friday, which is exciting. And what else? I don't know, that's kind of it, right? We have a lot of good stuff coming up, you guys. If you are new and you would like to participate in Roll for Slime, there is a new Roll for Slime group tier available for smaller sizes, and all of that is awesome. Have a very happy first day of Christmas, you guys. I will see you all at 4 o'clock.